So, welcome to our very last pace setters. We have talked a lot about habits and how your habits define you, how your habits will make or break you. We've talked a lot about doing things that will make your day go better, your week go better, your month go better. Um, I I know at Muffins and Makeovers on Saturday, Jaleesa was saying that she took something I shared in the Voxer group about like laying your clothes out the night before, or even on Sunday, just deciding for the week, what are you going to wear? What are you going to eat? It just makes your day so much easier, you guys. I mean, it's like being in school again, right? Like, lay your clothes out for tomorrow. Well, Olivia and I are the only ones that do that in my house for the most part. And Olivia and I are always waiting for everyone else in the morning. And instead of running around trying to figure out what am I going to wear or where's my shoes, where's my keys, like have that stuff prepared ahead of time. Gloria Mayfield Banks, she's the one with the $211,000 paycheck in 1 month. She always said, and this isn't a quote just from her. This is, I mean, this is a thing, but success happens when preparation meets opportunity. Well, we have to be prepared. And I've talked a lot about the compound effect in this pace setters that, the little thing that you do today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day, it compounds. And it's not just good Mary Kay things, it's bad things. So good things would be like, let me call 5 people today to book. Because honestly, for a lot of people in Mary Kay, the thought of building a successful business or the thought of really like running with it or moving up the career path or things like that, that's overwhelming. Most of us don't come into Mary Kay thinking, I got this. I'm gonna get into my red jacket. I'm gonna do a bunch of parties. We don't typically have that mindset coming in. Usually we're like, what did I get myself into? Why did I think I could do this? What the heck? Like, this is scary. But the thought of, I'm gonna call 5 people today, we can totally do that. Totally do that, right? Or I'm going to speak to one person while I'm out and about today. I'm just going to give out one little business card or one goodie bag, or I'm just going to speak to one person while I'm out today. So that is the compound effect, is just doing that today. It's doing what is easy not to do every day. So just like laying out your clothes, it's not really that hard to lay out your clothes tonight for tomorrow. It's really not, but it's also easy to skip it. So being intentional and doing it every day, it will change you. It will change you because you're going to be more disciplined. When you're more disciplined, you trust yourself more, you trust your decision making more. We are women, we doubt ourselves, and we are capable of so much more than we realize. But if you don't trust yourself, it's really hard to start moving towards the things that you might want in the back of your mind, but you think you can never do or get. So it really does start, you guys, with doing stuff like laying your clothes out the night before or flossing your teeth. There, I want to say, I don't remember what book this comes from. I read a lot of books, but this guy, he was talking about how flossing his teeth every day literally changed his life because it was one thing that he did not want to do that he forced himself to do every day, which proved to himself, oh, I can do things. Like I can do hard things. That's not that hard, but honestly, a lot of people skip it. And the fact that he did it every day and then it just became a habit, so he didn't really have to think about it anymore. It proved to himself like, "Oh, these little things, I can make them habits. I can make a choice to do something intentional every day that's going to change my life, like flossing my teeth or like laying my clothes out the night before or like drinking water instead of Mountain Dew or skipping dessert." Those things in the moment don't feel like a whole lot. It doesn't feel like this cheeseburger is going to lead to diabetes or heart disease, right? But the thing is, we rationalize these decisions over and over. It's like, okay, a cheeseburger today. I deserve it. And then tomorrow it's like, I'm just going to eat a donut. I deserve it. And then the next day it's like, I'm just going to have a soda. I deserve it. Okay, you do deserve great things, but what you're doing is destroying yourself. What you deserve is good health and for your body not to hurt and to not have the damage that that leads to. So in the compound effect, he even talked about these two guys, and y'all know I'm all about health, so I'm going to talk about this for just a minute. But he talked about these two guys. So one guy, he actually ate 175 calories more per day, just more than he was. Like, that's literally, yo, what's 175 calories? I mean, let me look this up. How many calories are in like a Oreo cookie? So, Oreo cookie calories. One cookie. Let's see. One cookie has 53 calories. Oh my gosh. Okay, so 175. That's literally 3.5 cookies. 3.5 Oreo cookies per day. Okay, today, is that going to make a difference? No, it's really not. If I do it today and tomorrow, is it going to make a difference? Nope. I mean, I will feel really bad, but but will it make a difference? No, 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 no. But he was talking about 6 months. Even 6 months later, you guys, 3.5 Oreo cookies a day didn't make a huge difference. But it was a year later when they took the guy that was eating 175 calories extra per day, and then the guy that cut out 175 calories. So cutting out 175 calories, what does that look like? 3.5 cookies? I mean, let's see, how many? A 20-ounce Coke contains 240 calories. So this is like cutting out one soda per day or adding 3.5 Oreo cookies. However that looks for you. It's different for everybody. Okay, so a year later, there was and they started the same. They started like about the same, like body composition and all that. There was a 65-pound difference between the two of them a year later. 65 pounds. Who wants to add 65 pounds to your body right now? But the thing you do today, that is what is happening, you guys. And I think it's really important that we take personal responsibility for the choices that we're making each day. That we just acknowledge that what we do when nobody's looking changes everything. This is all about what you do when nobody's looking. Because most of what we do, nobody knows about. Like, I'm not going to know if you said you're making your booking calls, but you didn't. But I will tell you, the fruit will be there, or it will not be there. Either one way or the other. It'll either be there or it won't. And that goes to everything. That goes to our Mary Kay business. That goes to our health. That goes to our relationships. So this study or this story, I don't know if it was a study or a story, but you guys, either way, it's totally how things go. The guy that added 3.5 cookies each day, well, I don't know if it was cookies, but his calories each day, he just didn't feel good about himself. He didn't feel good about his body. So he didn't spend as much time with his wife. He was bickering with her a lot. And then she is, more health conscious, and she is working on herself. So then he starts to feel like, oh, like, so for her, like, guys started noticing her, and he's like, oh, she's not interested in me anymore. It's like, these things that we make up in our head, guys do it too. And just making up stories, and he grew further apart from his wife, ended up divorcing. Like, this sounds so dramatic, but you guys, this is what happens to us. This is what happens in our lives, but we don't realize it because it's just little choices today. Little tiny choices today, like eating 3 Oreo cookies will lead to whatever. Like, it's not going to lead to anything good. So I used to buy into the lie that what I am doing today doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm building a national area. It doesn't feel like I'm earning a pink Cadillac, because it's not like oh, I sold $50,000 today. That doesn't typically happen, right? So the little things that we're doing, they don't necessarily always feel like they're going to get us what we're really working towards, but we have to keep going. So, like Galatians 6:9 says, don't grow weary in doing well, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you don't give up. If you don't give up, you guys, we give up way too easily. We give up way too easily. We go to the gym for a week and we're like, the scale hasn't moved. I quit. This is pointless. No. Like, think about your future self. And when you're focused on your future self always in every area, this is not just the gym, this is not just Mary Kay, your relationships. My future self will be very mad if I upset my husband over something stupid because I have a bad habit of doing that. I'm a little bit controlling. I was just watching Tracy's face. So she's terrible at hiding her feelings. I'm a little bit controlling. So I have a bad habit of just like speaking my mind. And you know what? Some of this stuff, it doesn't need to be said. Oh, thanks, Janae. Girl, thanks. It's that new green liquid eyeshadow, but I mixed it with some sparkly stuff because I like sparkles. So, um, so anyway, but I, uh, ugh, this is what I'm like really bad at. I say things that I regret very often with my kids, with my husband. I've reined it in with my team. I used to do it all the time with my team. Like, but the thing is, I can't treat y'all better than I treat my own family. So we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, are we intentional about doing and saying and acting and treating people the way that we should be to get the future that we want? Because what is the future I want? I want to be married to my husband forever. I want my kids to grow up and know the Lord and love people and treat them with respect. If I'm not treating them with respect, how can I expect them to respect others? I want to have a Mary Kay unit that is rocking it out, earning free cars, making lots of money. Well, how is that going to happen if I'm not even making my booking calls every day? If I'm not willing to do what I'm telling y'all to do, how is that going to happen? Right? I want to be healthy. My family has a very, very long bad history with heart disease and obesity and all these things that we can buy into it and say, "Oh, it's genetics." No, no, no. You have control over 90% of what goes on in your life. Linda Tupin, she is a retired national and she always says, "We are where we are because of the choices we have made or the choices that we have allowed others to make for us." And I know there are exceptions, and she recognizes that too. Sometimes people do bad things, sometimes people hurt us, but you know what we do have control over? 100% we have control over how we feel, how we react, what we do about it, right? We can't always control the outside circumstances, but we can control us. We can decide that we are going to have joy no matter what. And that comes from the Lord. Joy comes from the Lord, but we can make that choice. We can choose to be joyful or we can choose to be bitter. We can choose to take out our bad mood on our family and now everybody's in a bad mood. And people make jokes like happy wife, happy life. Okay, it's not funny. Why would you want your family to have a bad day? Why would you want if you're having a bad day, why would you want your kids to have a bad day? But we do that, right? So, just being conscious and being really intentional about the decisions we make every day will change everything. So I'm listening to this book. I'm really thinking about doing book studies. Like somehow, I don't know, because I really love so many of the books that I read, and I just want everybody to read them. So maybe if we read them together, that'll be good. If anybody would be interested in that, tell me because I'll do it. But, but The Power to Change is by Craig Rochelle, who also has a podcast. He's amazing. He has lots of books, but he might be a pastor. He's definitely a Christian, but he talks about how he talks about Yoda. You know what Yoda says, right? There is no, oh, Scarlett and I were just talking about this. There is no try. There is only do or do not. So when you say, I'll try to do better, I'll try to quit cussing, I'll try to stop drinking soda. I'm not targeting you, Katie. It's okay. There is no try. There's no such thing as try. There is either I will stop cursing or I'm just going to keep doing it. There is I will stop drinking soda or I'm just not going to do it. So he talks about how we attempt to change things by saying, I'll try. And he uses the example of quit smoking, right? So let's say you aren't smoking, like you were a smoker, you're not smoking. And by the way, I smoked for like 20 years. So I don't want y'all to think that I just entered into this Mary Kay world full of self-discipline and great that I smoked when I joined Mary Kay. I just hid it from everybody. I struggle with all the things. It's just different, like same demon, different way that it comes out. But he talks about how if you are quitting smoking, basically, right? And then you're out with your friends and they're smoking and they're like, hey, you want a cigarette? You're like, I'm trying to quit. What does that say? That says, yeah, you're not gonna quit because you're trying to quit. He says we have to change our identity. So if you identify as somebody who is trying to quit smoking, then yeah, that's it's not always gonna work very well. But if you were to say, no, thank you, I don't smoke, that is who I am a non smoker, period, right? Then you're not even going to be tempted to participate in that activity because your identity is someone who doesn't smoke. So, talking about changing identity, oh my gosh. Okay, so don't even take that anywhere other than what I just said, please. But we are, we are capable of changing. We are not capable of changing by just behavior modification, though, and science has shown that over and over again. We have to really change who we are. Like, if I say, I mean, there's so much power in our words. So if I say, I'm trying to quit smoking, I'm trying to eat better, it definitely gives me an out. Like, I'm trying. I'm trying when I'm called out on it and I'm like, I'm trying as I eat this donut, right? So you have to make a decision. When women make a decision, there is no stopping us, right? There's no stopping us. So make a decision and stick with it. So we picked things at the beginning of Pace Setters. We picked a bad habit and a good habit. So the bad habit, we were committed to not doing it for 9 entire weeks. Because once you stop doing it for 9 weeks, you guys, there's no point in going back. So for 9 weeks, we committed to whatever it was for each of us. So for me, it was watching reels on Facebook. They're so stupid. I'm so caught up in other people's reels. Like, I'm not even living my own life. And we do that, right? We stare at our phones so much that we're not even living. And for some, it was vaping. For some, it was cussing. For some, it was soda. It's different for everybody. But then we need to try to replace that with a good habit and also work on our identity and our belief and knowing like who we are, because without that it's just temporary. It's just temporary forcing yourself and saying like, oh, your willpower is so strong. No, none of us have enough willpower to actually make real change. That's not how it works. So we took a good habit, and if the good habit could replace the bad habit, that's best, like drinking water instead of soda, or maybe I can't remember Katie's, but let's just say giving somebody a hug instead of cussing. Sometimes we can replace our bad habit with a good habit. Like, um, for me, I can't remember what the good thing was that I think for me it was just like making my booking calls every day, which when I'm tempted to do, look at reels, have I made my booking calls today? Why am I even bothering looking at this? If I have time to do that, oh, positive affirmations. Okay. So some of our good habits that we decided to implement didn't make sense to try to like replace our bad habits with, but oh, good. I'm so glad. But this is how you create lasting change. So think about this. This is probably my favorite example. We could talk about health and eating cheeseburgers and Oreo cookies, whatever. Okay. But let's say you have a beautiful lawn and it's just like this fluffy green grass. It's fabulous. It looks so good. It's so soft. And what you want most is your beautiful lawn. But what you want now is when you get out of the car, You don't want to have to walk up to the sidewalk and then down the sidewalk and then up to your house. You just want to like walk across the grass because it's a lot faster to walk across the grass than it is to walk to the sidewalk and get to your door that way. So, what you want now is typically what people choose. This is what most people choose. Well, you guys, everybody that's on here, you're not like most people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on here. You wouldn't have bothered even trying. That text went out to over 200 people today. You guys are different. That's why you're here. Between Tracy and I, there's probably actually about 300 people in our units. Everybody got that text today. Look, and I know some people are at work and some people will watch the replay, but what I'm saying is you guys are different. And so, what you want more now and what you want most for real, are very rarely the same. Because what's going to happen if you keep walking across that grass? You're taking the same path to your car every day. Okay, day one, what's it going to look like? Nothing. It's just going to look like your pretty
It's
fluffy
gonna
grass.
die.
Like, it's going to look normal, right? Day two, how's it going to look? Still totally normal. Still, yeah. It's the compound effect that matters, you guys. What's going to happen after a month? You're going to start to see some wear. What's going to happen after 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, 6? You guys, your yard ain't going to be pretty anymore because there's going to be a dirt path in it where you keep walking. So you have to be willing to do the things that are going to get you what you want the most, not just what you want now in the moment. We're not toddlers. We can control ourselves. What you want most is to be healthy. You say that, but then you're eating fast food every day. What you want most is to have a good relationship with your husband. You say that, but you're arguing with him every day. What you want most is to have a successful Mary Kay business. You say that, but you're not willing to make booking calls or do parties. You guys, what do you really want? You have to be honest with yourself. So you're either going to have to lower what you want or start making different choices. Lowering what you want is not the answer. Is not the right answer, okay? That's not what we should be doing. So, what kind of decisions can you make today that your future self will thank you for? My future self is going to thank me and is already thanking me right now for what I did in the past, for going to the gym every day, for getting up early, for making my booking calls. Y'all, 14 people have joined my team this month. That's like a half a unit right there. That is because of things that I did not do today. That is not an action of one, or that's not a result of one day of work, you guys. It's the over and over and over and over, the things that I don't feel like doing, the things that I dread doing sometimes. I dread making my booking calls. I don't dread doing parties anymore, but that's what I used to dread. I dreaded getting in front of people. I thought I would like literally pass out and die in front of people. But what do you want most? Do you want to stay in your comfort zone or do you want to grow? It is totally up to you. And we don't say I can't. I can't is not a thing. I can't fly. Okay, I'm not talking about things like that. I mean, I can't build a successful business. No, you're not willing to. You can. You totally can. It is a choice. I can't, you know, I can't lose weight. No, no, no. You can. You're choosing not to. So I'm not talking about the very can't, never, could. I'm gonna have to start saying that. I feel like you've said that before. Can't, never, could. I need to put that in my brain. But the moment you say I can't, you are disempowering yourself. We're all about women's empowerment, right? But not for ourselves. No, that's ridiculous. If any of you have little girls, I don't ever want to hear the word I can't come out of your mouth. Ever. Because is that what we want our little girls to say? No, we tell them they can do anything they put their minds to. So put your mind to this and make it work. Whether this is building a successful Mary Kay business or getting healthy or having powerful, strong relationships, whatever this is, put your mind to it and make the little decisions every day that will get you there. And usually you know what those decisions are. Like making good choices when it comes to the words that come out of our mouth, or making good choices to what goes in our mouth food wise, or making the choice to get up early and go to the gym. Like, do I feel like getting out of the bed at 5 o'clock in the morning? No, I do not. Not at all. I don't just love it, but I'm thinking about my future self. So I just want to encourage you to think about your future self. And in The Power to Change, he talks about how we think of things a lot of times like trying, right? I'm trying to train for a marathon. I'm trying to run a marathon, right? He talks about the marathon. So you want to run a marathon. You haven't run since the eighth grade, and you're like, I'm going to run a marathon. Okay. So you sign up for this marathon. It's in like a couple months, and you don't do anything. You just show up at the marathon, and you're like, I'm ready. I'm going to try really hard. This is going to be awesome. Okay. So the person next to you is like, "Oh, how long you been training?" And you're like, "Oh, I haven't run since the eighth grade." And she's like, "Oh, interesting. Oh, what's that on your shirt? Oh, it's a little bit of the Twinkie I had on the way over. Okay. So you're gonna try really, really hard, right? Are you gonna run that marathon? Heck no. He said you're gonna be laying on the side of the road throwing up Twinkies. Let's be honest. So we can't just show up and try really hard. We have to train for it. Just like in our Mary Kay business, training. So we're out of time, but training, not trying. Training looks like being prepared and showing up. Just be prepared and show up. Do the small things. Get better at it. Make it a habit. You guys, you can do this. Whether, like I said, it's health, relationships, your Mary Kay business, whatever it is. If you're in school, you can do it. You have what it takes. So, thank you for showing up to my TED Talk today. I hope this has been helpful for somebody. I would love for you guys, do me a huge favor. So I want you to go into your unit's Voxer group. So the Sparkling Stars or the Bold and Beautiful unit Voxer group, and just share a takeaway from today's pace setters. I'm trying to get a lot of camaraderie going on here. And if y'all are all quiet in Voxer, it's not going to happen. So we're going to put a whole bunch of positivity in our Voxer groups and encourage each other, because there's people who are feeling like they can't. And we are our sister's keeper. I know that's not the saying, but still, we are. So let's encourage everyone else that they also can. So share a little takeaway from today's Zoom in your units Voxer group. Let your director know that this was helpful to you in any way, shape, or form. And thank you so much for being on today. That was the fastest 30 minutes ever. Hopefully this has been helpful. But y'all have a great rest of your day. Go do something today. Just one thing that will make a difference in your future. So have a great rest of your day. Bye.